Good morning, everyone who is watching on Facebook Live or catches us on the replay. I am so excited to start this series with you. I've had a little something up my sleeve, figuratively, for a hot minute. And anyone who has been part of the XMH empire for a hot minute knows that this is my goal and my dream. I am opening up something called the Biz Baddies. Not the Biz Besties, but the Biz Baddies. I've had this dream and this desire for years to have kind of like a network that feels like the Oprah network. And I know that those are giant shoes to fill, and I'm sure someone somewhere is laughing at me, but that's entrepreneurship and I'm fine with it.
Mhm.
I've just been having this desire to bring on and do interviews with people who are freaking phenomenal entrepreneurs. It's going to be a sampling of who I think are my best peers in the industry leaders, as well as current members of my Locked and Loaded Mastermind, graduates of the Locked and Loaded Mastermind, women that I've shared stages with, etc. And we wanted to bring conversations together because I want to introduce you to these women. And anyone that comes on to Biz Baddies, what you need to know about them is I'm in partnership with them in their businesses, which means I'm sending referrals their direction. They're sending referrals my direction. Because when you think about bigger brands like the Oprah Network, there wasn't any business that she brought onto her channel and that she put on the map or talked about without having a legal partnership in the background. You have to be smart about this. So, shout out to my lawyers, shout out to my legal team. Anyone who I'm bringing to the forefront like this, I've already had a partnership with. So, if you are someone who wants this, you need to like reach out to me because there's a lot of stipulations. Any hoosery. That being said, I'm super excited for the very first person who we're kicking off the entire Biz Baddies with. She's a friend. She's a Locked and Loaded alumni. She just shared the stage with me at Clear to Soar as part of our expert speaker panel. This is Kelly. Kelly, tell us about you. Where are you from? All the things.
Awesome. Well, this is super exciting. I love the whole concept because, for me, collaboration is such a beautiful thing. Like there's no competition, it's collaboration. It's beautiful. And so my name is Kelly Williams Hale. I am in sunny Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. We just dodged a hurricane, but I'm in Florida and I am a a visual brand strategist. I actually have been in the industry as a graphic designer for 25 plus years
Yeah.
and working with corporate in that environment, in-house studios, which has been really beautiful. I've really worked with three long-term companies because you create just community. And so just in terms, or at least like the connection between even Locked and Loaded and even just the way communities are built, for me, I thrive on that. And so I've just spent a lot of time in the industry, financial industry, automotive, and currently in the insurance industry. And for me, my expertise is really just design,
Yeah.
creative directing, art directing. I love how, pictures, you might be able to tell I'm a creative. I've always had a sense of art and design. I used to do pencil portraits. And so now I'm bringing that into my work. Um, I've been given a gift of encouragement. And so for me, I love the blend of the two because so many people, so many entrepreneurs or regular humans have a message. They have, they have a brand, whether they know it or not. They're building a brand, personal brand. And so for me, what I love doing is helping people kind of tie the two together, help
Girl.
them get their message out, help them create bigger impact. And using the gifts I have in terms of design is really the beautiful way that I get to do that.
So you've worked in your industry, which you've been doing graphic design, and you came from the era of a lot of print materials because you've been
Mhm.
in the business for, you said 20 or 25 years.
25 years, yeah, like
Um,
96. I know
Okay.
I don't look that old, but
I know. I love that about her. I call her my Kelly with the pink hair, but sometimes it's pink and sometimes it's purple. But my
yeah.
whole team behind the scenes, whenever I'm talking about Kelly, I'm like, Kelly with the pink hair, because everyone knows that Kelly. There's a lot of Kellys, but there's not a
Yeah,
lot of Kelly with the pink hairs.
there you
Um,
go.
so you've been in advertising and marketing for 25 years now. Can you name drop any of the companies that you've worked for, or can you just give us a general industry? Because they were big.
Yeah. We've worked with Fortune 500 companies. I mean, Bank of America. When I was in the financial industry, a lot of those banks no longer exist, but
Okay.
a lot of them, are still around. But I mean, that's probably the largest name. And so back in the day, it was credit card. It was a lot of direct mail, direct response. So what's cool for me, taking that expertise in terms of really crafting a print piece
Yep.
that captures someone's attention
Mhm.
and you create a response, like you want somebody to do something. If you get a postcard in the mail, your client or my client wants them to react, to do something. And so that's been really fun. Like it's really been a fun thing. Southeast Toyota. I mean, it's the Toyota brand. That was a lot of fun. A lot of creating a campaign for service, but really coming up with the overarching brand for the campaign. A lot of companies, they have a brand, Coca-Cola, different companies, but then when they kind of niche down into what their objective is and who they're targeting in terms of audience, that was a lot of fun. And then currently I work with Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is, you
A
know
major corporation.
yeah, so it's very cool. Interestingly, my client within that is Medicare, the Medicare
Okay.
audience. But I love it because 65, which is when you qualify for Medicare, like that's
It's so
new.
young.
It's the new 45, like truly.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Literally.
and I love that too because I get to create tactics, billboards. I'm working on a billboard,
Holy shit.
um, digital ads, and again, it's just really targeting audience. So I know for entrepreneurs, one of the biggest thing is really expanding their audience, like who they're talking to, and getting them to react and respond and do something. So
Oh
it's
my
really
God, this is so clutch because, my whole emphasis in having masterminds and the things that I teach is getting more money in the hands of women and families. And so I focus on sales, but so many people in the entrepreneurial space, they don't understand having visuals. Like they
fun.
don't understand, like you're not just posting to post, you're literally trying to get a response out of someone between the visuals and the linguistics. And this is something that you've been doing for corporations for 25 years. And now you're also bringing it into the entrepreneurial landscape. So I'm so excited to continue this part of the conversation. But I kind of wanted to give Kelly like a massive shout out. She didn't know that I was going to be doing this live. But listen, this is why she's one of the biz baddies. Check it out. So when we knew that we were going to be doing the Clear to Soar conference, which by the way, if you're watching live and you were part of Clear to Soar, hashtag the word Clear to Soar. If you did not attend and you want to see myself and Kelly and a few of our other biz baddies on stage, my husband included, he's not a biz baddie, he's a biz warrior. But anyways, if you want to catch the replay of that, just hashtag the word replay and my team will send you the link to actually get the replay for 60 days. But when we knew that we were going to be doing this major conference, it was a huge feat. Our company has never done a conference of this magnitude in a ballroom with men and women. We've done other women's events that are similar, but we've never brought in the men. And we knew that to put on a conference, you have so many moving parts and pieces. And one of the things that we wanted was like really powerful identification for people when they walked in the door. We had, a security team. We had a lot in terms of like making sure that the doors were watched and things like that. And to do that on a conference level, we wanted everyone to have a badge when they walked in the door. So we had our branding already created and we had given it to Kelly. And Kelly took our branding and she turned it into tangibles. Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you are looking for someone to do tangibles for your business, I need you to keep your ears open throughout the next 40 minutes while we're just dialoguing. But check this out. So,
Mhm.
these were our lanyards for the Clear to Soar conference. There is a space for each person's name to go on here for the VIPs, the general admission, etc. And on the back, Kelly is the QR code queen
Mhm.
because if you're in business and you have a tangible, it needs to have some way that people can connect with you when they walk away. So we had Kelly design these with a QR code. She's the QR code queen.
Mhm.
Literally contact her if you need the stuff set up. But this had like the whole program for our event. It had all the speakers, it had the itinerary, it had any links for people to make purchases. And so Kelly turned our idea into tangible items. She also created our entire program for our event. Like it was when I say I'm bringing to you with the biz baddies people who can elevate your brand, I'm dead serious. I'm not the
Yeah.
kind of person that wants to sit around and like make a program. I'm just not. I don't want to format it. I don't want to do all the copy. Like I don't want to put it together. That's not my wheelhouse. It's not my brain. I don't have the patience. But what we did is I would meet on Zoom with Kelly and just walk her through, okay, here's the visuals. So we already had the visuals in terms of our branding done. But she went through and she matched like all of our fonts and all of our colors and put our team's bios in there. She filled it with um, like testimonials from our clients. She put the itinerary in. She picked like really symbolic things to put this whole branding piece together. In the back of the book, she put in like all of our masterminding options. It was just so seamless and easy and fun to work with Kelly on this project. So I just want to bring it forward. If you don't have tangible physical items for your brand yet, and also if you don't have a website or a page, if you're a speaker, Kelly does both sides. She does the tangibles and she also does the sales pieces behind the scene of actually creating a website, creating landing pages, creating QR codes, creating like the direct response items in a virtual way too. So I'm just shameless plug of Kelly. This is what she does. Okay, so back to the questions because I want to interview you. You are an alum or an alumni of the Locked and Loaded Mastermind. Take me back to why did you ever join MySpace?
Yeah. That was, and I was just thinking about it, because it was in April last year is when I joined Locked and
Okay.
Loaded for the year.
Yeah.
Now you and I met like 8 years ago,
Yes.
which is awesome. And I just love, again, just the idea of community and like just when you find your people. And I felt like I had found my person. I met you and Brad, and it was just almost an instant connection. And so I've been following you, on Facebook, and I would catch your lives, back when you were doing really focused on beauty. And this was all pre, I think, like 2016, 17, 18. But it was probably, yeah, it was early or maybe late 2020. I'm just drawn to you. Like, I think that's the cool thing about social media, because you really do feel someone's energy through the screen. And so anyway, I was following you. I was one of those people that, kind of lurked and followed a little bit. I got into your free community, your XMH Empire. Caught a lot of your trainings, like the value and what you provide inside that free space was, and it was true. Like, I thought, oh my goodness, if this is what's being provided in this space, like you were sharing about Locked and Loaded, and I just knew, because at that time I was still growing. I had gotten some clarity. It was really for me around mentorship, And so I just wanted to join. I just felt drawn to join because the programs that you include in Locked and Loaded in terms of the sequence of how to build a brand, I had already had a pretty decent following. You know, I had been creating a brand without even really knowing I was doing that. And so for me, really diving in, and I knew I needed to be there to get clear, focused, specific about monetizing it honestly, and really determining what the next step was for me. And during that year, for me, it's kind of ebbed and flowed. And so where we are today isn't where I started, which is okay. Like, I love that the journey was so supported for me personally. And I know you do that with all of your clients. The journey through that year, that time together, including the mastermind, is such a great, it was such a, it expanded me beyond, like beyond. Honestly, I don't even know how to explain how it was. I graduated in April of this year, so I am a graduate. But even today, I still access the training from what I learned through that journey inside of that program. I mean, it really is. I think you talk about this sometimes. It really was like a university style education. It was
Yeah.
education, support. It was, I mean, I could go on and on.
Okay, you said you said three really important things that I wanted to touch on. One, you talked about your journey, and if you guys are watching live and you are part of the XMH Empire, please hashtag Empire, because since God 20, yeah, since 2020 was the first time that I opened one of these up. In the midst of the pandemic, I just knew that there was like some nurture needed for entrepreneurs. And I knew a lot about building brands. We had already built $1 million brand before the pandemic ever even happened, and we had done it all digitally. I had been a makeup artist in California. I had celebrity clients, but when we left California and moved to Georgia, I now live in a very small town. They say it's the best small town in America. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe they're working on it. But when we moved over here, like we moved down this, street that was tree lined hardcore. And you got to the bottom of the hill and it dumped you off into a neighborhood that, while the neighborhood was very nice, there was no cell phone reception. I had like two friends in the whole town, and I had nothing to do but build brand online. And that happened in 2016. So I had already been building brand online for 4 years when the pandemic hit. And all of a sudden, everyone is in their home and they're having to build their companies and their livelihood from Zoom and from Facebook and from Instagram and from all these online platforms. So the thing that I had been trying to get people to do for fucking 4 years, pardon my language, I'm sweary. I'm sorry for that. Any Christians in the audience, just bless me. Okay? Anyways, yeah, like when the pandemic hit, I was like, I've been trying to get these people to get themselves in front of a camera for literally 4 years. And now the economy has forced them to get in front of a camera and they're all terrified and in a trauma response. So let me actually show these entrepreneurs how they can maximize social media and actually get comfortable and make some money in the midst of a global crisis. So in 2020, we opened up an equivalent of the XMH Empire, and it's a completely free group on Facebook where every single month I put a piece of free masterclass content to nurture entrepreneurs. So if you're in the Empire, just hashtag Empire. If you're not in yet, say link please for the Empire, and my team will get you in there. But the vibe is, you said you were in the XMH Empire first, and you felt like if there's this much free content in the free space, what's in the mastermind? Is that the thing that kind of pushed the needle for you to join?
Yeah, it was. And then too, I think maybe it was one of those trainings, like really for me, pulling the trigger in terms of just the investment.
Yeah.
I had gotten comfortable investing because I know investing in ourselves is the best, you get the best return, because then I would be responsible for what that would look like. And so, yeah, it was an investment, but because I knew the support I would have, and I knew the type of content, I knew the training. In fact, I believe, Xtina, I joined one of the smaller 6-week programs, and I want to say it was the sales. Oh, the name doesn't come to me, but it was the sales, heart and soul sales.
Yes.
And for me, just my background, my trauma response has always been a little bit, maybe because I was a single mom for so many years, pinching pennies, just having like that whole lack mentality or scarcity where, oh my goodness, this is gonna, you know, shouldn't I be buying groceries then, instead of investing in personal development or my business or whatever. And so going through the heart and soul sales was like, it just opened my mind to my own business and what I could potentially gain, that return on the investment. And so I think I was in just like a week or two, and then I was thinking, well, this is just silly. I need to go all in because this is powerful. Another thing too, Xtina, is that you are so good about instilling belief in your clients. And that comes through in almost everything that you say. And so watching your journey and seeing your success in terms of what you've built in your brand, that for me, that was the evidence. And that was just almost like, what is it, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And that's kind of where I felt, because like I said, I've known you for years, but I just wasn't ready yet. But it was time, and I've been so grateful ever since. And yeah, it was just really cool.
Okay, a second thing that you said was you already knew a decent amount about marketing before you ever walked in the door. And I think that this is an important distinction to make, because we've had people that are on the fence and they're thinking about joining Locked and Loaded, and they're like, I already know how to copyright. I already know how to make graphics. I already know X, Y, and Z. Like, you came in with 25 years of direct response marketing experience.
Mhm.
You already knew how to build landing pages and websites, which, by the way, I don't teach. So don't come to me for that. Go to her. Okay. But like, please help our audience understand, even if you are, oh my God, someone just joined. No, oh my God, someone just joined the sales suite. I'm so freaking excited. Okay. Anyways, that's exciting. Please help our audience to understand, why did you come and join Locked and Loaded if you already knew marketing? What's
Mm,
the difference between marketing in a corporate environment versus building a personal brand?
yeah. Yeah, that's a really, really good question, because I've often asked it myself. If I have this knowledge,
Yes.
but there are nuances. There are nuances, and it's not like an apples to apples kind of dealio where
Wow.
you have to look at it differently. Interestingly enough, I see more corporate companies starting to embrace the personal brand way of marketing and communicating, and building awareness, audience, and all that. So for me at the time, because I was really getting serious, I mean, for me, it was almost like just a serious, okay, I knew I needed, I knew I had been called to support women
Yeah.
in terms of just, when God called me, it was like in 2006. I was a single mom, and it was just for me to provide encouragement. Now, I had been going live, or at least video, since 2016, so I'd gotten comfortable behind the camera,
Yes.
but there was still a disconnect. There was a disconnect in me sharing value and I came from a network marketing kind of business model because, like you, I am such an advocate for women becoming financially independent, or, supporting their family financially. And so I've always been drawn to that business model, network marketing, but it wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. And so understanding that I could take this personal brand that I had already been cultivating and building and really create something that would support me in terms of business and mentorship and just the structure of it, the difference. So back to your question, the difference between taking what I had already known into this online space, it's different. And so I needed to, and one of the big things is a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it for me was that
Thank
emotional
you.
work that you teach, because like you said, there's so much I already know, and a lot of us do. We can go to Google and tutorials, YouTube, and figure out how to do a lot of things, but
Yes.
having that support, and then also behind the scenes, because I was thinking about this, knowing we were going to be talking, I was like, the one of the biggest, there's so many biggest things I got out of Locked and Loaded, but one of the biggest was really emotionally holding my space. In fact, in August last year, when I was going to be launching one of my first programs based on what I was learning, how I had been taught, the support I received, there was almost a firestorm because I do work full time. I have a corporate position, and I think there's no because of this new environment, a lot of us work remote. There's no reason why women shouldn't monetize their gifts, even on the side, anyway, that's a whole nother probably conversation. But I started getting very anxious, just in terms of creating this program, doing my 9 to 5. I have a 12-year-old. I've got 2 older children. I've got a husband and a household, and, there's life that happens. But because of what I had been learning, and I can't remember the program exactly, I think it might have just been just the support. Like, I knew how to calm myself and just energetically chill out. And I remember that so clearly because it was different. It was different than I had operated, say, the year before, where it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it all? And
Yes.
it was just, that was a big moment. And I remember it very specifically.
I'm curious, walking into Locked and Loaded, like I know that you had already understood a lot about direct response and marketing, and you know how to design, right? But did you understand Reels creation, selling in stories, Instagram? Like, do you feel like you were already great at that when you walked in, or did you elevate it inside of our
Yeah.
space?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I
Okay,
did not.
perfect.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of us, we can go and YouTube find it or whatever, but there's something different when you literally like you have a work with me sort of structure,
Yep.
where we're all together watching you literally do what you do every day. And for me, just again, the evidence and knowing what you do every day and seeing how it works and just the impact you've had in the world in terms of, not of just all of it. Like, I love that because there were things I learned that I am actually implementing into what I offer my
Yes.
clients, using, creating book launch, um, what's it called?
Assets.
The trailers. Yeah, the
Yep.
book trailers. When somebody launches their book, they need something visual digitally, like a little movie. A friend of mine, or a client, she does a TV show
Yes.
on the Roku network, and we created her commercial, and it was so cool. And I don't, I learned the tactic, and I learned the how to
Yes.
through working with you and Locked and Loaded, and that was really powerful.
So the thing that Kelly is talking about is my own entrepreneurial journey of honestly just being in the suck the first 4 years. It really informed the way that I run my mastermind. And there's like so many different reasons for this, but primarily I came from being a stylist and makeup artist, a very successful one. But the nature of who I was before I was an entrepreneur is that someone else handled all my bookings, someone else checked in all my clients. I never had to touch a computer. And so I did that for a decade. Someone else did all my stuff. I just walked in and used my hands to paint and do hair and makeup, right? And when I became an entrepreneur, it was a deer in the headlights moment of like, oh fuck, I'm about to get hit by a semi, because my husband was gone 12 hours a day and we had started this company together. Like we co-founded it, but then he went back to work. And there's little me who was like hunting and pecking to type. I did not even know how to type back then. And now when you see my social media, the abilities that I have, I had to learn by myself. I'm completely self-taught in graphic design, in creation of stories, video editing, you know, I didn't have anyone teaching me. And so when we opened up Locked and Loaded, I realized that one of the big hindrances for women believing that they can monetize what they do, as a natural gift is that they're like, I'm not good at social media. So what Kelly's talking about, the work with me hours, is I literally set up like I put my phone in a holster and I have one phone up here and one phone down here. And I'm going live from a bird's eye view, and I am on my other phone creating content. And I'm showing, like, here's the button. This is how you open the app. This is how you navigate. Because there's so many people that come in and they're like, I'm just not really that good at Instagram, or like, how do you make a reel? How do you add music and links to your stories? Like, what do I do here? And I just don't take it for granted that people already know this stuff, because I certainly didn't. And yeah, that's a big
I
piece of
didn't.
it.
Yeah, I
Somebody can take
absolutely did not. And so, yeah, it is a big piece because having somebody show you, and then the other thing that's cool is the VIP days, because say we had the work with me and then a VIP day happened that month, just getting being around the other women that are doing the same thing, there's really nothing more empowering and encouraging for me to have other women that are on the same path.
Yeah.
And so having them ask the questions, and questions sometimes that I didn't even know I had, that just was like light bulbs, and then I was able to go and take that and do something better, and everything. And yeah, the reels creation, the Instagram creation, I for one didn't really utilize my Instagram. It has grown. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't want to say doubled, but it still continues to grow, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. Okay, this is so fun. This is so fun. I have to ask, because we've got in 25 minutes, I'm going to have to jump in like 20 minutes because we have the sales suite today, which you're in. So I'll see you in there. Team get paid every day out here. This is the vibes for sales suite. Someone just joined while I was live too. But I want to ask, like, if you want to share, if you don't want to share, whatever you're open to sharing, offers wise and financially, where were you when you started in terms of what were you selling and how much were you selling when you joined? And now, today, after being in for a whole year, learning everything inside of the vault, what are your offers like today? And how are you doing financially today? Because everyone wants to know that. They want to know,
Sure.
is this financially worth doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I ask.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think before I started, I really wasn't making any money doing what I was doing. In fact, well, I take that back. I was actually coaching with another company that was similar, but not. That was my first investment in I guess 2020. I don't know. I'm getting all the times mixed up. But I had been coaching through that company. And I mean, I was making a little bit, but I was actually investing more than I was making at the time with my other, mastermind mentorship program. And for me, because it's been a little bit of a journey going from the coaching, mentoring space, which I'm still doing, but then kind of pivoting a bit to embrace both the tactical giftings that God's given me. That's still kind of an ongoing thing. Now, I can tell you in terms of my investment for Locked and Loaded, I did calculate that it's been 18 months almost, pretty much. And it's 3 times. Like, I have 3 times my investment. And that was through, because that's a graphic designer, it's everybody's needs in terms of tangibles and websites. It's so different. And so I do offer a free consultation, like an hour long.
Hey, hang on. Can
Yes.
anyone who's watching live just like
Mhm.
throw hearts for Kelly and congratulate her? I didn't realize that you had 3x'd your
Yeah.
investment since you joined. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And it was through, now I want to be very clear. It
Yeah,
was, a lot of it was through different channels.
yes,
So for me, in terms of
yes.
even my job, my corporate job.
Yes. Okay, that right there. People
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, well, it only matters if it comes directly through the first thing that I walked in the door making offers with." What
Right.
people don't realize is we have millionaires already in the millionaires desk who they come in and they're working in corporate America and they take the elements of social media marketing, permissions-based sales that I teach, the soft skills, and like personal brand negotiation, and they're
Mhm.
taking this into their jobs and getting raises. So that counts. Please keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. So that was it. I had my biggest bonus this March, before almost a year in, my biggest bonus through my company. There's been other, more, not necessarily, because again, with graphic design, it's different than like mentorship and programs, but
Yes.
I'm working on how to bridge the two, which is so cool because I am a graduate, but I'm still taking what I learned in terms of creating offers and structure. One of the I know it was, I think, a mini course that's included in Locked and Loaded was the masterclass structure. And that's
Where
like,
I literally taught how to give a master class.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
almost that's almost worth the cost of entry. And
Yes.
so taking all that, well, back to graphic design. So there's just been different ways helping. I've helped musicians create their website for a theater production. I've helped a woman do her book, which we're still working on her book, but we created her beautiful website and a lead magnet, which is basically like the ebook that you can download when you opt into somebody's list. Working with clients like that, and again, my client, she's launching a book, and so we're working designing the cover of the book, and it's gorgeous. And then two, almost just energetically, Xtina, we talk about this a lot, and Clear to Soar covered this. You went so in depth in that 220, what is it, $200 basically to get the replay for Clear to Soar is so worth it. That was such a release for me in terms of opening up the possibilities, like being in Locked and Loaded, being just connected to your brand, your business. It's almost like the possibilities. It just, you see what's possible, not only in your business, but with your clients. Dr. Lauren, I know you mentioned she's coming on Monday, and Christina, we both were on the stage together, all three of us. And it was just incredible. With all that said, it's the expansion of my energy, the idea of receiving. I struggled a lot with receiving in terms of just, my mind and emotions and all that. And so part of that 3x has come from basically just being open to receive, open to know that, yes, God wants to bless me. He loves me. He will send money. Money is not bad. And, it's just it's been such a shift for me that's gone more than in my mind, because we can know a lot of things up here. And that's probably what I came into locked and loaded with a lot of this. But being inside of your world just opened my heart, and almost like literally a soul level, that just has been, um, for me, just being a faith-based entrepreneur and wanting to help other women, men who want to really share what is being done in their life. Like, it's just opened me up to receive. And so I'm excited to see what more is coming.
Exactly, because I feel like there's a whole bunch more coming.
Yeah.
Speaking of the more of that for you, it's like you were a featured speaker on our stage at Clear to Soar. Now, this was a vision that I have had for a long time. I kind of mentioned like my Oprah Winfrey aspiration type vibes. I have always
Mhm.
desired to have some kind of a network. I'm taking action behind the scenes to pitch a reality show, like a docu-series, because I do. I want to have a network where I can give people the feeling that I had growing up, which was every day after school, I went home and I turned on, you know, Channel 4 at 4 p.m. to watch Oprah Winfrey just talk to other women and sometimes men about the big things of the world. And I learned so much, and just it was so heartfelt, and it felt
Mhm.
so authentic and true. And I want to be able to do that for other entrepreneurs and women. And
Mhm.
so I had this vision of there's over 200 women just in the last year and a half that we have helped to grow brands. So that's a huge number. And I've been wanting to give those women a bigger platform, but I wanted to do it smart. And
Mhm.
so our first go at this was having our alumni whose services I use. So if you're live, just hashtag whose services I use, because this is a big one. Like, I don't want to just feature people to be like, oh, this person's in my mastermind, so let me just put them on, because I think that's dangerous. I'm not here for it. But if it's someone whose services that I use and I'm like, no, they're the real deal, and I would recommend their services, I want to create a platform for that.
Mhm.
So you were one of the featured experts on our panel, and you were talking about branding beyond social media with things like landing pages. If you're a speaker, having a one sheet or having what's called an EPK, an electronic press kit, utilizing QR codes, having tangibles that you can hand to people, and you
Mhm.
presented on this topic. What was that experience like for you?
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, my goodness. Well, I first of all was I actually registered for the Clear to Soar conference, not knowing that that was going to be a possibility. So I knew that I had to be at Clear to Soar anyway. Um, and so when we had the conversation about me sharing what I'm doing in terms of the design work, and really, like you mentioned, branding beyond social, because there's such a powerful way we can use, especially now that people are out and about. And, I shared on stage, never leave them empty handed. When people are out networking, when you meet someone, and I think I am going to maybe adopt this QR code queen.
You are.
I love that because it's so powerful. In fact, at the hotel we stayed at, under the thermostat, there was like the little paper on the wall that said, scan for room service, scan for this, scan for that. So we've all got these phones that can access a website, that can access information, that could send people directly to wherever you, in terms of the um you're the entrepreneur. If you have a message, it's amazing. I love that. And so for me to get on stage and share, especially having men in the room, that was so cool. Like, the energy was just, it was intimate, but also it was like, I don't want to say it was hyped up, because it was just very, um, it was very encompassing and warm. I don't even want to say inclusive, because we were live streaming, and it was just, it was for me just very neat to know that people were there. And because I was on day 3, I was so thankful, because we had Friday and Saturday, and just the openness that I was experiencing personally through, Brad's talk about legacy and identity,
Yes.
and the visualizations that you took us through each morning. Again, that replay is so powerful, because it was just it was amazing to be there, and then open that day, because it was our last day, and I knew Christina Messenger and Dr. Lauren Moffat they were speaking, and I was just mesmerized by their talks around health and around money,
Yes.
just the way that it encompassed, mind, body, and soul. For me, just being a part of that, especially on stage, it was literally one of those memories that are going to become like core memories, where I'll be talking about this, maybe with you when, and when I'm 80 or something, because it was such a vibe. It was
Love
very
it.
cool.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It was such a pleasure to have you on stage and just that whole lineup on day 3 of Clear to Soar. So
Mhm.
good. Oh, and I see
Mhm.
Jackie Bailey watching live. Oh, I want to give a shout out to those who are watching live. I see Tahani. I see my mom, Mary Kay. I see Jackie Bailey. What's going on, ladies? What's up? Say hi if you're watching live. Okay. So I think I'll wrap up with I've got three more questions. One of them is we made this big old announcement from stage that I'm reserving the right to have a baby, next year ish. And so we're only running locked and loaded enrollment for fall, and then it's going to go on a wait list until probably mid 2025. And I noticed that there's a lot of people that, I've known them for years, or they've been watching my stuff for months, and they keep on telling me, like, hey, locked and loaded is kind of on my vision board, but like, dot, dot, dot. Knowing that the enrollment is about to close and it's going to go on waitlist till 2025, if there's someone who's truly on the fence and it's truly meant for them to be in locked and loaded, what would you say as an alumni to tip the scales?
I would say to trust yourself and trust that instinct. If it's a desire in your heart, like, it's there for a reason. And I know in my life, I have hesitated to do things
Mm-hmm.
because of either uncertainty or doubt or whatever. And so if you are on the fence, I personally would just jump. I mean, sometimes I often say, one decision can change the trajectory of your life. You are almost, what is it, one decision away from a whole different life. And I kind of look back and think, if I had not done that, like, where would I be today?
Where would you be? I'm
I mean,
curious.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure that I would still be on this path. I would still be trying to figure it out. But when, the trying to figure it out on your own versus having this support, not only with the teaching and training that's, like, again, university level,
Thank you.
but the sisterhood that's cultivated, like the VIPs, and there is the accountability, the structure. For me, I needed that. And I did share this on stage about, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. Like, now is the time. And it's, for me, I would just ask whoever is on the fence, like, just think about where your life is going to be in 1 year, like literally 1 year, because I honestly can't believe a whole year went by when I joined Locked and Loaded. Like, there is time is so wild, but it's going to pass. Time will pass, and we will be here, August, 2024, before you know it. And when you can make a decision today that's going to impact what that day, or no, what are we? September 1st. My
Yeah.
goodness. September 1st. So think about September 1st, 2024. Like what do you want that day to look like in 1 year? What do you want it to look like? And so when you can kind of future cast and know that it could look so different, you could be just expanded beyond, because I've had some wonderful success. I mean, literally last year, in addition to what I was learning, I was speaking. There was a whole up level that I experienced working in with you in Locked and Loaded. And it's just jumping, just jumping. And for me, I did kind of had to split up my payments. I used
Right.
a couple of different
Right.
ways to cover that, but it was just one of the best investments I've made personally in myself as well as my business. And so I don't know, I would just really, what does Nike say? Another brand that we're talking about, just do it.
Another brand. Yeah, it
Hmm.
felt like when you were in Locked and Loaded, speaking of your speaking thing, it felt like every time that I talked to you, you're like, yeah, I'm going to North Carolina. I'm speaking on a women's panel. Like you really took on a lot of speaking gigs and a lot of author stuff, even when you were in Locked and Loaded. So just the sky's the limit.
It really is.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay. Let me wrap up with two more questions. One is for Q4, because we're now going into Q4. For
Mhm.
Q4, what are you focused on in your business to serve entrepreneurs? What are you
Yeah.
doing? What's your
So
offer?
I have two things that I'm constructing right now. And again, if you want to do a consultation, it's a clarity consultation to kind of understand what it is that what message you have, what legacy you want to leave, how you can really support your brand, tangibly. Just comment in the comments or find me on Facebook, like reach out.
Yes.
Um, because I'm putting together, my brand is Be Brave, the Be Brave Life. And so I've got a Be Brave business bundle, and
Love
it's with the business bundle is more around business cards that have QR codes. I found a very fun way to utilize social media and a business card that one of your clients actually shared with me. It's really cool. But I have several things going on. But again, because it's so unique in terms of what entrepreneurs need, you might already have a website. You don't need that necessarily, but you might want to start speaking in your community to share the expertise you have in your community, at the Chamber of Commerce or at different BNI meetings or whatever. But so I create a one sheet you mentioned that really just encapsulates your credentials. And so I have that, and creating a book. So many people want to write a book. And
Yes.
so I've got a bundle around a book. And of course, I do have website bundles. So I'm still trying to, it's again very customized to my
Yeah.
client. But those things are coming. Q4 is going to be super exciting because it's just a lot of culmination for me personally of really walking into my purpose. And that's been just such a gift and a blessing to be, inspired by you and taught and trained. So Q4
Yes.
is cool.
What I think I love the most about you is that you were already a coach. Like you had already gone through a coaching certification before you ever like came into my world. Then you also went
Mhm.
ahead and worked with Dr. Kim, hashtag
Mhm.
uncover. What? Tell us why you.
Oh, well, that's it, what you were just saying. So, because I have been able to take what I've learned in terms of life coaching and mentorship, and the trauma informed certification has been amazing, because there were reasons, I've mentioned it a couple of times, of things that held me back over the years. So by taking what I know in terms of supporting entrepreneurs emotionally through the process of creating either a book or a program for their event, or even something as simple as just business tools to help you market, having someone in your back pocket that understands your journey, as opposed to like just somebody who is a designer, you know, your friend's college kid that just graduated. While I think that's amazing, I love that because I love creative, and there's so much I mean there's probably a lot I could still learn, but emotionally having that support as you dive into something that may or may not be a stretch in terms of even a book or growing a website and becoming more visible, knowing that how I support my clients in addition to the design and the visual branding and helping bring them to life, helping bring their brand to life visually, having the support emotionally and just in the process. You know, it's a process, and I appreciate you saying that. And as far as the program and your event, Clear to Soar, because I understand that you've got a lot going on, and so for me helping make that transition, that growth, if you will, um, fun and also easy, and also just supported, where you're just supported as you grow. So for me, I love seeing my clients grow, and that to me is just maybe unique in the industry in terms of what a designer can provide for your brand.
I love it. Okay. I still hear the weird beep over here. So I'm going to wrap it up. Get
Okay.
up, Kelly.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. I love you, girl.
Yay, this was awesome. Thank you so much. Bye. Mwah.
Bye.